everyone, welcome again to Geography 3, World Regional Geography. This short video is going to serve as an introduction to your syllabus, which I encourage you to read closely. I will go over it kind of quickly here. It's helpful if you've printed it out and you can kind of follow along. And we're also going to look at the Blackboard site to kind of help you navigate that. So my name is Jamie Speed Rossiter. I can be reached at that email address you see there, jrossiter0. Make sure you have that 0 in there. Otherwise, you will not get to me. It will just kind of go out into the ether. I have office hours on Mondays from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. virtually. I am not on the Saddleback campus. You can do that by going to Google Hangouts and finding me under that Saddleback email address. If you don't have a Google Hangouts account, you can create one with any email address. It does not have to be a Gmail address. You are also can email me. I will get back to you within 24 hours and often much quicker because this is an online class. But if you wait until Sunday night when something is due and you email me at 11:30, I will probably be asleep and I will not email you back then. So give me some time to email you back, and I will get back to you pretty quickly. I am an environmental geographer. My research is mostly about conservation and marine protected areas and a little bit of urban agriculture. I teach this online class at Saddleback, and I also teach at Cal State San Marcos. So just to give you a little idea of the course description, according to the Saddleback College catalog, this course is an introduction to the world's geographical regions and major countries with an emphasis on human cultural patterns and their evolution in diverse physical environments. It combines elements of physical geography or Geography 1, as well as cultural geography, Geography 2. We're going to focus a little bit more on the cultural activity in this course, although we will certainly talk about the physical as well. We're going to look at lots of maps too. Here's an upside down world map, which there's actually nothing wrong with an upside down world map, which we will learn. The southern hemisphere can certainly be at the top of the map. There's no reason it has to be at the bottom. Your textbook, which is required for this class, is Fundamentals of World Regional Geography, the 4th edition by Joseph Hobbs. You need to have the 4th edition. Things change so quickly that you really need to have the most current edition. It is available at the bookstore. It's also available online in a variety of places or to rent. So I encourage you to do whichever one works best for you. Obviously, you're on Blackboard right now. This is an online class. It's all about Blackboard. So you want to make sure that you're very, very comfortable with Blackboard. If you are less comfortable with Blackboard, there are people on campus to help you with that. And I encourage you to click on that Saddleback Student Help on the login page in order to get some help with Blackboard. There's also some helpful videos that you can watch. At the end of this PowerPoint presentation, I will go onto the Blackboard site and kind of show you around how I have laid out our course. Our course is divided into modules. Every week is one module. So you will click on the modules tab and you will see, all you'll be able to see right now is module 1. The modules go live on Sunday nights and they are due the following Sunday night. You are not allowed to work ahead in this course. Actually, we are not supposed to let you work ahead in any online course. It's supposed to proceed as much as possible like a regular course. It's not a correspondence course. But every week on Sunday night at midnight, that module, next module will become live and the other one will become due. So you'll be able to click on it and see what's going forward, and you have the whole week to complete that module. There are 2 exceptions to this. Thanksgiving week and the last module are both due on Wednesday, not Sunday. Thanksgiving week, there's only one thing for you to really watch and one very short exercise for you to do. And then the last week of the semester, and the semester ends on a Wednesday. And so the only thing that you have to do that last week is take your final exam and do a final course survey, which is a very short anonymous survey. It's very easy to do. It just gives me feedback on the class and allows me to kind of make it better in the future. I will remind you those 2 weeks that your modules are due early though. So the coursework for this class is divided as follows. Uh, there's a plagiarism quiz, which is part of Module 1. It's a short multiple choice plagiarism quiz. You can take it up to 3 times in order to improve your score. It's basically so we're all on the same page as to what plagiarism is and that we make sure that you understand it. There's some things for you to read and a short video for you to watch before you take the quiz. There are 4 map quizzes that are worth 20 points each. We are a geography class, so we definitely want to have some map quizzes. They are designed to give you a basic familiarity with some of the important locations in each region. You will have 15 minutes to complete each quiz, and the questions are fill in the blank. You'll see a map with numerous features labeled only with numbers, and each question will ask you to identify either a country, city, or a physical feature. There are blank maps and study guides available for each one of these. They are already up on Blackboard. I'll show you where they are. So you are going to want to study for them. Your first map quiz on Europe and Russia and the near abroad occurs in the 3rd week of the course during Module 3. Exercises, there are 20 exercises worth 10 points each. That's 200 points. Each week, depending on what else there's due, there is 1 or 2 exercises. They are a mix of short assignments and discussion questions. You only have 1 exercise in the first week. It's very easy. It's just a course introduction. But other than that, I might ask you to go to your textbook and read something or look something up and comment on it. You might have to go online and find something and figure some things out or fill in a table. They're pretty clear, and like I said, there's 1 or 2 each week. You have a country journal. There is 1 entry due for your country journal every week. They're worth 5 points each. They come at the end of the module. So throughout the semester, you will be engaging with the news from a country of your choosing. You will pick 1 country to focus on for your country journal for the entire semester. I encourage you to pick a country that you're curious about but not that familiar with. It tends to be the most interesting that way. You may not choose the United States unless you have recently immigrated to the United States within the past 2 years, and you need to discuss that with me beforehand. But basically, what you're going to do is you're going to go out and find a news article, and you're going to write a short commentary on that news article, and you're going to include the link to that news article. There is a list of approved sources on Blackboard. We want to make sure that we're using good information. The list is quite lengthy, so there are plenty of sources to choose from, my favorite of which is something called World Crunch. It is a website that takes reputable news sources from around the world and translates them all into English. So sometimes if your country, for example, is Italy, you'll be able to find stories published in Italy with an Italian perspective but have been translated into English. If you would like to use a source that's not on that list, I encourage you to do so. You just need to obtain approval from me before the assignment is due, so I can make sure that it is kind of a vetted and reputable source. The purpose of this country journal is to let you engage with one country for the entire semester. And at the end, you're going to write a final paper, which is a country profile. And so you'll be able to use things that you put in your country journal in order to do that. We have 3 exams in this class. They are worth 100 points each. And you're responsible for all the information covered in lecture and video and other types of presentations, as well as your readings. There's a study guide posted already for the first exam, but they will be posted at least 1 week prior to the exam date. Your first exam happens in Module 5. And they consist of multiple choice and short answer questions. So if you've been following along, if you look at that study guide, you will be able to do well on your exam. And they are not cumulative. So the first exam is on chapters 1 through 4, the next exam is on chapters 5 through 7, and then the last exam is on chapters 8 through 10. And finally, that final paper is due in Module 14. It's the second to last module on Sunday, December 16th by midnight. And this paper will bring together core geographic concepts that you have learned throughout the semester and focus on the country you have chosen for your country journal. You must use citations and plagiarism won't be tolerated. There are final paper instructions already up on Blackboard if you want to look at them and start thinking about that final paper. Finally, there's a final survey, which happens in the last module, which again is just a very short anonymous survey that helps me kind of improve the course in the future. So that gives us a total of 760 points. There's lots of ways to earn points in this class. If exams aren't your thing, even if you don't do that great on an exam, if you do all the exercises and map quizzes, you can still do well in the course. I encourage you to still do well on your exams, but there is not one thing in this class that will make or break your grade. Late assignments, I do accept late assignments. Full credit will only be given in the case of a documented illness or other valid documented reason, which is up to my discretion. After that, 10% will be deducted per day for lateness, and after 1 week, assignments will no longer be accepted. So if you're running behind 1 week and Sunday rolls around and you're not done, please finish the module on Monday or Tuesday. 80 or 90% of the points is certainly better than no points at all. Special accommodations, if you have a physical or learning disability for which you receive accommodation, please let me know as soon as possible and email me copies of the documents associated with your disability accommodation. And all the materials posted to Blackboard are accessible to students with disabilities. Please let me know if you encounter any issues. All of the videos that are on this class are closed captioned. If you find a problem with one of those, please, again, let me know. Cheating and plagiarism, they're not tolerated. If you get caught cheating or plagiarizing, you will receive a 0 for the assignment and be reported to the university. Be careful of that. Pay attention to that cheating and plagiarism materials that are given in the first module, because ignorance will not be accepted as an excuse. And so finally, here's the beginning of the course schedule, which is in the syllabus. There are a lot more than 5 modules, but I can't fit them all on this slide. But every week you will see here's the date, the module. So our first module starts on September 11th. It's due at midnight on September 17th, and then the next module opens up. Here's the topics that we will cover in that week. Here are any assignments that are due or exams or quizzes that are happening. So as part of your first module, you have 1 exercise, a plagiarism quiz, and your country journal. And these are the associated chapters. And so you're going to want to be reading along with the book. Sometimes a chapter goes over 2 modules. We'll spend 2 modules talking about Europe. So you're going to want to make sure that you're following along with your textbook as you go through these. It's a lot easier to understand what I'm talking about and to not have to kind of replay lecture over and over again if you've done reading beforehand that gives you that background information. So now I'm just going to open up the Blackboard website and kind of show you around there. So I'm in the student preview mode because mine looks a little bit different than yours. But you show up, you're on the announcements page. You want to make sure that whatever email address is connected to Blackboard is the one that you're actually using, because I will use announcements with great frequency to remind you of things that are due or to possibly let you know of extra credit opportunities. The start here is where you are hopefully right now watching this video, as well as you got to see that short video of my face. Here is the syllabus, which I encourage you, if you haven't opened it up or read it, that you are doing that. Everything is right there, which you can download that by clicking right there or print it if you have a printer connected. And here is your whole schedule for the class and what we're going to be covering. The next is your modules. And so right now you can only see module 1. And so each week another one will appear. And again, you're not allowed to work ahead in the class. I'm sorry if you were hoping to do that. But if you click on the module, here is the table of contents for the module. But the module is meant to be done in order. So there are 10 pages in the first module. So you basically just click through them. Here is some reading on cheating and plagiarism that you should do, a short video to watch about cheating and plagiarism. All of the videos and the lectures will pop up like this. If you hit play, you can watch them right in the window here. Full screen mode is not available in Blackboard. YouTube doesn't let it happen. If you want to watch it in full screen mode, which there are plenty that you're going to want to watch in full screen mode that have maps, all you have to do is click on the title up here and it will launch YouTube for you. And then once you launch YouTube, you're able to click on that full screen mode and then watch it that way, which will certainly be easier for the lectures. So you'll have the, the plagiarism as part of Module 1. There's a short plagiarism quiz that you're going to click to launch there. And so again, here is my lectures. My lectures, you'll be able to hear my voice as I go through my PowerPoint slide. There is your exercise 1, which is just your course introductions, a few more videos. I divide my lectures up into usually segments that are no longer than 20 or 25 minutes. It's really hard to sit down and watch an hour-long lecture when you're not in a classroom. So everything is done in kind of little chunks, and I'll often have outside videos as part of the module as well. So chapter 1 here has been divided into 2 parts. And then we have a couple of short videos, a brief history of GPS, and the last thing in the module is your country journal. And there are instructions here how to do that country journal that I mentioned before. So that's your modules. And again, a new one will appear every week. There's also a shortcut to the country journal. Your country journal, you're basically making entries in the same journal all semester long, and you earn 5 points every time you enter one in on time. Here is the list of approved sources that I was talking about. So again, it's under this country journal tab here, and you're going to want to click on this list of approved sources. There are quite a few here to choose from. And again, I encourage you, if you find another one that you want to use that is not on my list, please email me and I will tell you if it's an appropriate source. And if it is, I will modify this list and add it to it. Below that is your study guides for your map quizzes, and they are all here, all 4 of them through the semester. So here's the study guide for Map Quiz 1, which will happen in the 3rd week of the semester as part of Module 3. And so your quiz is 20 questions long and you have 15 minutes to complete it. You have such a short period of time because I have to kind of make sure that you study and that you're not just trying to look everything up on Google Maps. If you try to look everything up on Google Maps while you're taking the quiz, you will not be able to finish. It will take way too long to do. But what I have here is there's 2 blank maps, and then there's a list of places that you need to know on these maps. And so I encourage you to print out these maps and try to label some things in order to learn them and have an idea of where they are. Any one of these items may appear on your map quiz. Below your map quiz guides are exam study guides, and I've already posted the study guide for exam 1 if it's something that you want to look at as you're going through. So our topics, this module, we're going to cover the objectives and tools of world regional geography. We're then going to move on to the physical processes, the human processes, and finally Europe. And so these are all the things that I would expect you to know for your exam. And again, your exam is a mixture of multiple choice and short answer. Finally down here, not finally actually, but here's your final paper. And there's a sheet here that has your final paper instructions. If you would like to read that so you can have these things in mind over the semester, there's a rubric that tells you how I'm going to grade that paper. And then there is also a guide here on finding reliable sources. You're going to have to use outside sources that are properly cited for your final paper. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the semester. But here is kind of a guide to do that. We don't want to use Wikipedia or pages that are kind of unreliable and not vetted. And finally, if there's discussion boards, there is a click here. Right now, nobody's posted in it, but here is the course introductions, which there's also a link from inside of the module. And so I encourage you to go back here and kind of read about your fellow students so everybody can get to know each other. And then finally, the My Grades. So the only thing that you're going to see here is things that have already gone live that I've posted, and if you have a grade in there. And so that's basically it for the Blackboard site. And again, please make sure that that email is accurate. I hope you enjoy the class. And right now, you're going to want to go on to that module 1, which will be due Sunday night.